So Master Zhou wants to ask you a question here. Do you want to listen to what makes sense to you, or you want to listen to what is useful to you? Every word has its truth, you know? Your parents don't want you to learn from Master Zhou or sign up for his courses. There is a reason for that. Your wife doesn't want you to start a business either, fearing that you may lose money. But the question is, do you listen to what makes sense or what is useful to you? The person you listen to will shape who you become. If you listen to poor people, you will become poorer. If you listen to wealthy people, you will become wealthier. Fortunately, Robert Kiyosaki chose to follow the advice of his rich dad. And Robert Kiyosaki's other sisters listened to his poor dad. So Robert Kiyosaki's sisters have become monks or nuns, and some are poor and destitute, supported by Robert Kiyosaki for a lifetime. After failing to run for governor, the poor dad lost his job at the education department and later started his own business, which failed miserably. When the poor dad died, he left a lot of debts to the family, while when the rich dad died, he left his son Mike hundreds of millions of dollars in assets. So everyone here, when you see this, you will understand that the biggest difference between the poor and the rich is the difference in quadrants. And the reason why you enter different quadrants is because of different thinking and beliefs. Why do people in the E quadrant choose to be employees? Why are you so attracted to this quadrant? It's because all the education you have received come from people in this quadrant. People in this quadrant are constantly influencing you and shaping your thinking. Master Zhou gives an example here. Think carefully about why the poor in the world are becoming poorer and the rich are becoming richer. It is because our concepts related to money have never been taught to us in school. All our concepts related to money do not come from school, but from our families and parents. In other words, if our parents have a poor mindset, we will have been influenced by them to have a poor mindset. If our parents have a wealthy mindset, we will be influenced by them to have a wealthy mindset. Let me give you an example. Imagine a child born into your family and raised for 20 years versus the same child raised in the households of Li Ka-shun, Wang Yongqing, or Bill Gates for the same duration. 20 years later, tell me, how would the fates of these two children differ? They would be vastly different, even if not a single penny was given to them, because the child raised in your family would constantly hear you utter phrases like, "It's too expensive, I can't afford it." With so many children, how could I possibly become wealthy? Making money is so difficult. It is not as simple as it seems. Money should be spent wisely. We need to be frugal with our spending. Men turn bad when they have money. We have all been influenced by such mindsets from childhood. Finally, when our subconscious mind accepts such beliefs, our thinking becomes that of a poor person. A woman marries a man, and all she thinks about is that men become bad when they have money. So her subconscious mind does not want her husband to become wealthy, and therefore her husband will never become wealthy. So a woman is the biggest feng shui of a family. Isn't that right? So everyone here, if you want to change your quadrant, you must first change your mindset. To change your mindset, you must change your beliefs and your circle. Results are produced by actions. Actions are produced by thinking. And thinking and beliefs are produced by our environment. As Master Zhou always says, if you spend every day with people who think like employees, you will eventually be attracted to that quadrant. If all your friends are small business owners, you will at least be an individual business owner. If all your friends are entrepreneurs or CEOs of listed companies, you will at least be an unicorn startup. And if all your friends are investors, you will at least be an investor yourself. People are products of their environment, my friends. So if you want to change your quadrant, you must change your circle. Listening to the advice of people in the E quadrant will make you an employee. Listening to the advice of S quadrant will make you a small boss. Listening to the advice of entrepreneurs will make you an entrepreneur. And listening to the advice of investors will make you an investor. Therefore, everyone here, Robert Kiyosaki tells us that we must find someone in the B and I quadrants to be our teacher. Robert Kiyosaki was very lucky to find his rich dad, and Master Zhou was also very lucky to find his teacher Robert Kiyosaki. Of course, you are also very lucky because you have found Master Zhou. But can you follow Master Zhou all the way? Everyone here, it's not just learning for one class, 1 year or 2 years. Remember, Robert Kiyosaki learned from his rich dad for a lifetime. Master Zhou has been following Robert Kiyosaki for 18 years so far, and he will continue to learn from him for a lifetime. Therefore, everyone here, learning financial intelligence is a lifelong process. You have to keep learning and keep up with the times if you want to become wealthy. All those who have made money and then lost it are those who have failed to keep up with the times and have been eliminated by them. What you consider an asset today may be a liability tomorrow. Do you know? So Master Zhou wants to tell everyone that we must try every means to move from the left quadrant to the right quadrant. And to move from the left quadrant to the right quadrant, we need something called a plan. We need to be long-term orientated and set ourselves a learning plan of at least 10 years. And when Master Zhou checks everyone's homework, he finds that many people don't have a learning plan when making their plans. The learning plan that Master Zhou set for himself is to finish all the books written by Robert Kiyosaki, to find Robert Kiyosaki, to attend his courses, and to become his student. Master Zhou has achieved this goal. Therefore, you need to meet Master Zhou in person. You need to become a student to his financial intelligence mentor class or his fortune and blessings sharing class so that you can have face-to-face contact with him. Some people say that there are risks on the right side. Who said that? Rich Dad tells us that even if you are an investor or an entrepreneur, it's better to lose money or go bankrupt today than to be an employee in the left quadrant, because going bankrupt is temporary, while being poor is a lifelong matter. Bankruptcy is only temporary, just like Shi Yuzhu. Although he went bankrupt temporarily, he can still bounce back. Master Zhou still says, I failed in business 10 times, but as long as I succeed one, the money I earn in that one time will exceed the total losses of 10 times. In the end, I will be rich. Do you understand this logic? Therefore, everyone here, what must you do? You must change your perspective. When making a financial freedom plan for yourself, have you seen how Master Zhou makes his financial freedom plan? Financial intelligence tells us that it consists of 4 major abilities: marketing, financial knowledge, law, and investment. Master Zhou wants to learn the 4 major abilities of financial intelligence, right? He attended all the courses related to sales and marketing on the market, whether it's the courses of Brian Tracy, Zhou Girard, or the courses of Chinese sales speakers. In order to learn financial knowledge, he didn't even graduate from junior high school, but self-studied all the subjects in high school. He got into university and started business administration for 3 years. Master Zhou went to study calculus, marketing, and then accounting, statistics. Do you know? Everyone here, because he can only learn accounting for free by studying business administration. In order to learn tax, Master Zhou spent 100,000 yuan to sign up for a tax teacher's course. Everyone here, in order to learn law, Master Zhou hired the most professional lawyer for himself and then went to listen to his lectures and sign up for all his courses. So everyone here, Master Zhou went to the university and pretended to be a student of Beijing University to learn and attend classes over there for a year. He worked in Zhongguancun during the day and went to Beijing University to attend classes at night. This was part of Master Zhou's financial freedom plan, which spanned 28 years, with 10 years dedicated to learning. This learning not only involved attending classes, but also practical and hands-on experience. Master Zhou was going to work as a salesperson and find a sales job. Real estate is the best asset, so Master Zhou was going to work in the real estate industry and become a salesman in real estate company to learn real estate investment skills. Master Zhou needs to understand finance and work in the financial industry, as well as work in a financial company. Because among the 5 major assets, the most important ones are real estate and finance, right? So Master Zhou was putting everything he learned into practice. Everyone here, the first job Robert Kiyosaki took after graduating from university was a job at an oil company. Why did he choose an oil company out of so many jobs? Because his rich dad told him, Robert, oil is soft gold. He went to work at the oil company and earned a monthly salary of $3,000 with 5 months of paid leave every year. Tell me, was this a good job? In the United States in the 1960s, it was the best job. After working for a year, Rich Dad said, Robert, your learning plan at the oil company is complete. You need to go to the next place to learn. He didn't say work. He said learn. Okay, Rich Dad, where to go? Join the army. Robert Kiyosaki was frightened. After all, it was the Vietnam War at that time. Yes, join the army. When Robert Kiyosaki said he was going to join the army, do you think his poor dad would let him go? He strongly opposed it. First, you might die in the army. Second, if you serve in the army, do you know how much an American soldier owns? Only $200 a month at that time. You currently earn $3,000 a month. If you had to choose between keeping your current salary or taking a job that only pays $200 a month, which one would you choose? Obviously, I wouldn't choose the $200 job. It seems ridiculous. You see, those without financial intelligence would think Robert Kiyosaki is crazy, don't you know? Robert Kiyosaki's poor dad thought he was crazy, especially considering the fact that being a soldier means working all year around with no breaks. But at the Standard Oil Company in the US, he had 5 months of paid vacation every year to travel around the world. Robert Kiyosaki's poor dad said, "You are crazy." But his rich dad said, "Go join the army." If you were Robert Kiyosaki, who would you listen to? He chose to quit his job and join the military. All his colleagues thought he was crazy, and all his classmates and his relatives thought he was sick. He joined the military. In Vietnam, he flew planes and participated in the Vietnam War. His plane crashed 5 times and he survived 5 times. He felt that the most important skill he learned in his life was learned on the battlefield. Then he came back very excited, thinking that he would finally start his own business, show his talents, and become an entrepreneur. He went to see his rich dad. His rich dad said, "Go to Xerox in the United States and become a salesman to sell fax machines." Oh my goodness, fax machines had just been invented at that time. Do you know that fax machines were a new thing at that time? Do you know how difficult it was to sell a fax machine? Robert Kiyosaki said, "Why should I sell fax machines? I'm crazy. I want financial freedom. I want to become rich. And I want to start a business and become an entrepreneur." Can you succeed in starting a business and becoming an entrepreneur if you don't understand sales and marketing? Why did I tell you to go to the American oil company to understand oil and invest in oil mines in the future? Why did I tell you to go to the army to learn leadership? resilience, and the ability to get up after failing. Why did I tell you to go to Xerox? To learn sales, and you must work from the grassroots level to the middle level before you can leave. Learn sales at the grassroots level, learn management at the middle level, and combine it with the leadership learned in the army. Then you will be qualified to become an entrepreneur. The 3 essential abilities for becoming an entrepreneur are sales, management, and leadership. After hearing this, Robert Kiyosaki finally understood that the courses designed by his rich dad were far from over, but just the beginning. He immediately went to Xerox to sell fax machines. Tell me, was it difficult to sell fax machines? After talking to people for a long time, they would say, I have a fax machine, but who should I fax to? My clients don't have one. Robert Kiyosaki, who was ranked last, was almost fired. Do you know that? Later, he went to his rich dad and said, I really can't do this. It's too embarrassing. Selling is too embarrassing. His rich dad said, let me tell you, do you want to be rich? Do you want to be a billionaire? Robert Kiyosaki nodded. His rich dad took out a needle and said, do you know how difficult it is to become rich from being poor? Robert, see this needle hole. This is called crossing the needle's eye of the rich. It's as difficult as threading a camel through the needle's eye, which is the difficulty of a poor person becoming rich. It's the difficulty of entering the right line from the left. Upon hearing this, Robert Kiyosaki thought, oh my, this is too scary. Passing through the needle's eye of the rich is to learn sales. Sales are not shameful. It's shameful not to earn money. Master Zhou said that he also found sales shameful when he was young. He learned computers and wanted to be a computer engineer after graduation, but his boss asked him to sell MP3s. However, Master Zhou no longer found sales shameful after reading Robert Kiyosaki's books. When he applied for a job in Luoyang Computer City, the personnel said that they didn't need anyone to fix computers now, and he should sell MP3s at first. They would let him do the repair work when they needed someone. Master Zhou sold MP3s and earned over 1,000 yuan in a month. Later, after reading the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he realized that the sales were extremely important, right? The first lesson to become rich is to learn sales.